We have been in contact with CalPERS and with LACO, and HR and payroll are doing their training right now on how to implement CalPERS. It will be effective July 1st, and we have 90 days to roll it out. So HR is working on the enrollment process to get everybody enrolled. So that is when we have contact with everybody.
Thank you. Director of Robotics and STEM, Mr. Wolfie.
Yeah, so we've started off the year. You got to take a chance to check out the shop and cleaning that up, making it look really nice. Got some student meetings scheduled for next week and kick off with a new season in about a month.
Awesome. Thank you. Employee organizations, a representative from PATA.
I'm going to continue to use the podium. It's good. More comfortable up here. I'm going to start by saying first off, thank you. From the bottom, the most inaccessible components of my heart, thank you for moving this speaking slot to the beginning. That is most welcome. Yeah, for real, really appreciate that. PATA is looking forward to the new school year. We are looking forward to continuing our collaboration with the Academy and making sure that we're continuing to make improvements to the school. Articles have been sunshine. Automatic reopeners obviously are compensation and health and wellness benefits. We also sunshine leaves and workday work year, some specific items in those, just some language adjustments. Nothing too crazy. I think as far as workday work year, maybe some things that might help the Academy in some meaningful ways. But I won't say too much. I don't want to steal shine from our bargaining team. So you stay tuned and hear from them. But I think they're good. I think the things that we're focused on in terms of our reopeners are things that are definitely in direct benefit of students, direct benefit of the Academy, direct benefit of the teachers and members. The one thing our bargaining team does need are negotiation dates, bargaining dates to be solidified. Dates for, I believe, September and October have been offered up. And so we are eagerly awaiting the Academy's response to those things. I think making sure that we calendar those dates early is important. Just because, the longer we wait, the more people's schedules fill up. Our CTA staff folks are busy. We're not the only school that they work with. And so if we want to make meaningful progress on these things, we have to make sure that we get those meeting dates calendared quickly. Our bargaining team is optimistic that these negotiations could be concluded within the first semester. If we are on the same page and if we make sure. I'm so sorry. Miss Lee, Miss Garner, Mr. Ooh, that's Mr. Could you say your last name? Firat? Yeah. Great, Mr. Trujillo. I don't think I've ever introduced myself. My name is Daniel Lagomarcino. I'm the director of the Palmdale Aerospace Teachers Association. I am so sorry. That is very rude of me. It's nice to have you guys here.
I figured it out.
Anyway, so dates for September and October have been offered, and we want to get these things calendared early. I think our bargaining team is pretty optimistic that we can conclude negotiations within the first semester. For me, I don't know how y'all are feeling, but I want this year, I'm being very intentionally optimistic, trying to hold my piece together, and I think just making sure that we are moving in lockstep with the Academy, the association, and the Academy moving in lockstep to resolve issues, solve problems, continue to make improvements to the school. I think that's going to go a long way to preserving the peace around here. We've all really worked hard to accomplish over the last few years. There are many opportunities for us to come together and continue to collaborate. I know our contract calls for a PAR committee to be assembled. It's a great opportunity for the Academy and the association to collaborate and do some really good work on behalf of the teachers. And a health committee to be established. Another great opportunity for collaboration between the association and the Academy. We are ready to engage in these projects, ready to get to work. Apart from that, kudos on a great start to the school year. I know Mr. Lujan, you were out a couple of days with us, seeing what's going on. We always appreciate seeing you. Had some really good PDs assembled. Mr. Schatz did a great job on those PDs. We had a good time. I think they were really nice. The new teacher orientation went super smoothly. And then the first couple of days have been uneventful, which I think is really good for the first few days of the school year. Kids are, yeah. Kids, you know, they come in a little hot-blooded and a little angry that they have to wake up cranky, I guess is what it is. Haven't corrected their sleep schedules yet. Up until Friday night, they were staying up till 4 in the morning playing video games and stuff, so. Yeah, smooth start to the school year. I'm just excited. It's gonna be a good one. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Representative for Packer? No? Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Before us is the consent agenda. Are there any questions on the consent agenda?
Not for me.
No? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda passes. Thank you. All right, before us is the. All right, action items. Recommend to approve Guide Dogs of America. Do you have a representative or?
I didn't do the presentation, so I'm here.
Oh, no, we can- Are there any questions for Guide Dogs of America?
No, they did a great job last week presenting.
Yeah, if there is any questions, just let me know.
So, any questions? No? All right, no questions, thank you. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Guide Dogs of America.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good luck.
Recommend to approve workplace violence prevention plan.
Good evening. This is the first renewal of our plan that we wrote last year, and the only changes we made is that we actually streamlined it and shortened it and did some better definitions of different types of violence that might occur or we might experience at work, and I streamlined some procedures. So we did have some input from our stakeholders and very minimal changes. I'll entertain any questions you might have.
No questions. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the workplace violence prevention plan.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, recommend to approve food service nutrition program board policy.
All right, so as we're moving into changing our food service program, we're also looking at, or I've been looking at all the policies that we should have instituted in our board policy manual for food services. So I looked at Palmdale Aerospace Palmdale School District and other districts to make sure we're including all the policies we need to include. So this first one is food service child nutrition program, and basically what the board policy is that the board says that we should have adequate nourishing foods, we don't want unprocessed foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, and adequate time to eat the meals.
Any questions? All right, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the food service child nutrition program board policy.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you. The motion before us is to recommend approve the food service operations child nutrition resource policy.
So this one is basically saying that our food services are a self-supporting nonprofit program, which it should be, with our funding through our federal and state reimbursement, that we have meal sales, that we have contract procedure, and it's basically just outlining that.
Any questions? Do you have a motion?
I move to approve the food service operations child nutrition resource policy.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you. The motion before us is recommend to approve the other food sales board policy.
So this one outlines that for other food sales, there are federal and state guidelines that say we cannot sell food on campus between midnight and a half hour after our school day. And this basically just outlines that, saying that we comply with those requirements.
Any questions? No? May I have a motion?
I move to approve the other food sales board policy.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you. The motion before us is to recommend to approve the nutrition program compliance board policy.
This policy is basically to comply with state and federal non-discrimination laws for nutrition programs. So we have a statement in here that we, our non-discrimination statement for nutrition programs, and we adhere to it.
Any questions? No? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the nutrition program compliance board policy.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Before us is the motion to recommend approval of employee meal charge policy.
All right, so this is a new policy that we have not had before. And historically, the way it worked here was staff was able to purchase lunch or breakfast on credit. And we did not have a system to really collect the funds. And we realized at the end of last year, we had thousands of dollars uncollected going back several years. So looking at how we should allow staff to purchase lunch and breakfast and be able to pay up front and only have a credit up to $10.50, so it doesn't get out of control and they don't have a hard time paying it back. So what this policy basically says is that you have the ability as a staff to purchase any item. We prefer you purchase in cash, and if you don't have that, the most you can charge on credit is up to $10.50.
Any questions? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the employee meal charge policy.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, thank you. The motion before us is to recommend and approve the Proposition 28, Arts and Music in Schools renewal.
Laura, can you put on that PowerPoint, please? Thank you, Laura. So last year I presented to the board each school's separate Prop 28 plan. Laura, can you go to the next page, please? We have 3 years to spend our money, and this is year 2 for the academy. We have $425,790 left to spend for this year. And so the elementary plan that they went over last year and I presented to the board, they were happy with the plan. They're going to keep going with the plan, so their plan is not going to change. Next slide, please, Laura. The middle school plan, they want to make a little change to theirs. And what's new this year for the middle school Prop 28 plan is they would like to add presentations on visual and performing arts to help students explore visual storytelling with seasonal showcases where students present their art. And for the high school plan, what's new for the high school this year is that they would like to add a 2D digital art course for the next school year. So we'd spend the time this year putting that together. And this would be a college level course focused on developing skills and creating a portfolio of 2-dimensional art and design work. That's all I have for you. If approved by you tonight, our plan, this Prop 28 plan, would be posted on the CDE website and on our TV website.
Any questions?
I do have a question on this one. So it says that the number of full-time equivalent teachers and personnel is 0. So I know this is associated with a 3-year funding period, but would we be able to potentially continue this beyond the end of that funding period if we're not hiring people associated with it?
I'd have to pass it on to Roseanne, but I believe it's the end of a 3-year plan on that. And the reason why it's 0, because we haven't currently hired anybody on staff for that one. Now, if the school was going to bring in an art person to do an assembly or whatever, that's not our staff.
Yeah.
So it's like which teachers, if the high school plan went forward with that 2D digital art course for the following year, then we would end up having one, because that's our staff that we get benefits and everything else for. That's why it's a 0.
So do we know, like, are there any plans at this point to hire someone, or?
There aren't at the moment, because now that we have, our contract, we have to look at what we can afford at multi-year, because of the fact that they would be permanent eventually after 3 years, and they'll be
Okay,
afforded after the funding is gone. And we don't have any temporary position language in the contract yet.
Okay, thank you.
So Prop 28 funding has been incorporated into Prop 98 guarantee. It's basically we're guaranteed to get the funding into perpetuity. That's the way the governor set it up.
Okay.
But the plan is for 3 years, and you do have a requirement that 80% has to be spent on personnel and only 20% machinery or on supplies. But we do have the option to get waivers also if we want to do outside vendors instead of hiring staff to do continuity. So there is a
Okay, thanks for that explanation.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
I move to approve the Proposition 28 Arts and Music in Schools renewal.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the motion before us is to recommend to approve the RFP Revolutions Fund.
All right, so you may remember, I think it was the end of June, the board approved that we could send out an RFP for our meal vendor plan. And at that time, after we had the approval, we went through the steps of posting it twice, and we posted it in our local Antelope Valley publication. And if you were to look at the RFP, we do have a process that we followed. We did receive 2 RFPs, and the one we're bringing to you tonight is for Revolution Foods, is the vendor. We did have a meeting for our RFP. We had a RFP meeting. We had Mr. Schatz, Mr. Riley, Ms. Lynch, and myself, and Ms. Zapata, the Assistant Director of Food Services. We reviewed the proposals, and we had a scoring system. It was not just based on the lowest bidder. It was also based on other items, quality of food, ability to be able to perform the service we need. And again, this is a meal vendor program, so what they would be doing is they will supply the pre-packaged, pre-made food for us. And as we discussed at the last meeting, this will only be for a couple months. The vendors are aware of that, but we will continue to have the contract as we slowly move into the new meal prep system. So after we did the analysis and everybody filled out the forms of which vendor they felt would be the strongest and work for us, the committee chose Revolution Foods, and so that's why we brought them here tonight to be approved for the contract. And as noted, the pricing in here is the original pricing that was originally submitted by the due date for Revolution Foods.
Do you have any questions?
I probably should have forwarded this to you in advance. I don't know if you were on it, but we had received an email from a vendor that said that we didn't follow the proper process. I didn't check for you on the 2-line, but could you address the process that was followed and how we
Yes.
ensure that we were compliant with all the requirements?
Yeah, so the process that was followed is the RFP went to the board and was approved by the board. And then we have a step-by-step process of when we release the RFP, when we did the first public notice, the second public notice, the deadline of submissions. So we followed everything as instructed within the RFP. What did happen was after the RFP process, Revolution Foods came back to us and said they were, because I was providing incorrect information for this type of RFP process, which follows under USDA, so it's a little bit different. And the information I had from the regulations is that you can, once it's submitted, negotiate a reduction. And so that's what we did with Revolution Foods. So they sent the reduction of their lunch price, and after speaking with the attorneys, because I also, we all received the letter, we decided that it was best not to accept that price because it was after the date, even though they didn't feel it was legally an issue because of the process. But, it's always a gray area, so we said we would look at the original RFP that came in with the original lunch price, so that is what is before you. Also, the other vendor, a team of us did go out to visit their site to see if they were prepared and had the ability to service us. And that was taken into our discussion when we rated the vendors also. And we did, I know one of the concerns was that we didn't post it publicly on industry, maybe websites, but we did do it in Antelope Valley. And it was my understanding that vendors who do meal service have algorithms and stuff so they can find the RFPs. So we did do that, and we did get the two.
So,
And I have a response from the attorney specifically for the board that we can say in session.
if I just understood what you said correctly, you said based on the process parameters, we're allowed to negotiate a lower price after the fact, and we did, but we're not taking the lower price that we negotiated?
That was my understanding. And the attorneys, and I actually have their response, here, of exactly how they addressed that.
Would it be negotiated after they're selected, not before, correct?
This is what they are saying basically is that when I originally received the first letter from the second vendor, I worked with the attorney, and Ms. Lynch did send a letter to them explaining to them, we understand your concern, and it doesn't feel correct that we allowed another pricing to come in, so we told them in that letter we were not going to honor the second pricing because they didn't have an opportunity also to lower their price and have a discussion with them. So we had already sent a letter back to them explaining that. So in the second letter that came to the board originally, they did not address that we had already said we were not going to accept that.
I guess I don't understand why we would pay more instead of offering the opportunity to another vendor to rebid. Or to all of the vendors to rebid.
So how,
Well, I can tell you with the other vendor, we did go out and we looked at their place. And they have never been in the K-12 market. And they didn't have menus ready. They didn't have food for us to taste. And we did not feel they would be able to provide the service we needed. Yes, in our scoring sheet, which you can see in the RFP, only one number looks at pricing, and of course they did receive the highest score on pricing. But the other items, we did not feel that they would be able to accommodate what we needed to start the school year. Because we're still applying for some approvals from the USDA, and they didn't have those approvals yet.
So I'm not trying to force the hand in terms of vendor selection, but I just don't understand why we would willingly choose to pay more money from the same people.
so my understanding on the RFP process is before you enter or you select someone, the purpose of the request for proposal is to open it up to everyone at the same level. So if this one provided an additional reduction, then opening up to the rest saying, are you willing to do that before anything is negotiated? So I'm understanding, yes, we would have to step back from that because the opportunity of reduction wasn't given to everybody else. And so it's a fair process. So the negotiation usually happens after you select that vendor, and then you say, okay, now we enter into negotiations, because you've notified everybody else that this is the selected vendor. That gives us the opportunities to negotiate. So had that option been given to the other ones, they would have then, we would have been able to have reductions from all and then compared it that way. So it's all about being fair and transparent. So moving forward with accepting that reduction, I believe we would be in some kind of violation because we didn't disclose it to everybody else.
So if you approve Revolution Foods tonight, then I can go back and negotiate with them for the lower.
That was my next question.
Yes.
However, we did, I'm gonna ask it here, cross our Ts and Is, because we already know that that is a possibility. And
So the attorney did respond that that was the way to do it, that we didn't, that by pulling back and doing it this way is the correct way. There were no violations in response to the letters provided by the other company. And so they actually have a letter to give to you, or I can forward to you, from the attorney that spells it all out. It says that we are not out of compliance with any of the allegations. Yeah.
may I ask, where did we post the RFP?
Antelope Valley.
Only there?
And part of that also is because when we move to the third party, to a different vendor, within 2 months, we will no longer be utilizing any company full scale. Because we'll be piggybacking with like a Cisco Food, something for the mill, fruits and vegetables, another food company. So, the food vendor, even though we have to sign a year contract, it will be reduced dramatically as we move to the second contract. And the issue that came up and how we ended up kind of in this position also is that with federal regulations, you do your contract for 1 year and you can amend, you can renew it for 4 years. And we didn't realize that we had finished our 5th year on June 30th. So right now, as we start the school year, we have no food vendor contract. And because of the USD regulations, we legally cannot just call up any vendor and say, hey, can you serve us food via a contract? Because you can't legally do that. You have to do the full RFP process to get the vendor. So for the first 2 days, we can order food and we get out of pocket and we wouldn't get reimbursements until we have a signed contract, or at least RFP.
So my question is, you said right now, for the first 2 days, you ordered food?
Yes.
So for the rest of this week, you will have no vendor?
No, we have food. We would never not have food if we had to.
No, I'm saying vendor, you don't
Yeah,
have
yes,
vendor.
correct. So if this is approved tonight, we would have the contract signed tomorrow and everything to be effective tomorrow.
So that doesn't leave us any room to go negotiate the prices if we're signing it tomorrow.
We have tomorrow to negotiate the price down.
Okay.
Mr. Rizzo, so we have all our Ts crossed, all our Is dotted and everything, that we're all in compliance with everything.
Our attorney says there does not appear to be any major flaw or violation of competitive procurement standards warranting or issuing that RFP.
I'm hesitant.
We've ran everything that the attorneys have reviewed, the RFP, all the proposals, all the letters that have come from the second vendor. They've talked with everybody, us, and they sent the 3-page letter and they feel confident that we are in compliance. I also reached out to the CDE because you can file with part of the CDE, and they kind of, they don't do anything until the complaint filed, but based on all the information they had, they feel that we've done our due diligence and done what needs to be done. We're in compliance.
We do have food for the kids,
Yes.
so we can vendor.
So, the vendor you're talking about is Revolution Foods, am I correct?
Correct.
So, I know what you mentioned earlier, were you able to taste the food of Revolution?
We've used them for 10 years.
Oh.
15, that's one of the only vendors we've had here. They used to be under a different name and then they changed to Revolution Foods a few years ago. So we've always used them. We have a relationship with them.
So basically you would just be going back to them.
Correct. Correct. Which actually works.
So-
Yes.
May I ask, if we were using them already for a long time, why did we have to do an RFP to renew their contract?
Federal regulations. After 5 years, you federally, legally, wherever laws, you have to do an RFP and allow other vendors to bid on the job. You have to.
And there's no best interest clause.
Not under USDA.
Any further questions?
Will they go back to that reduction they made, they're gonna go back to that most likely?
I think so. I have not spoken to them because I wanted to keep after all of this, everything transparent, so I haven't had any conversations with them until, if it's approved, then I'll have a conversation with them.
So if this is approved, then you begin your negotiation with them.
Yes.
And if they refuse to negotiate to a lower price?
I don't think that's going to be an issue because we have a relationship with them and because they already submitted it and they were under the impression that they were going to give us that rate anyways.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the RFP for Revolution Service.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? There's no any opposed. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, the motion before us is to recommend approve the PBIS, TIPPS research training.
We're steadily moving forward, just continuing to increase our knowledge on our PBIS. And so PBIS is broken up into 3 tiers. And we have a very strong foundation in Tier 1 and Tier 2. We have been using a lot of the strategies and interventions with PBS, but the University of Oregon, which is where PBS comes out of, has reached out to a lot of the local schools and asked for schools that would be interested in being involved in a little bit of research on the Tier 2 level through their TIPS program. So I have my little cheat sheet because I am not really, that's why I investigated on TIPS. But TIPS means Teams Initiated Problem Solving. So it's a scientifically validated process that guides school teams and data-driven decision making. So what they are going to do is they want to actually use elementary schools, and the way they want to do that is they want to provide us TIPS training. Some of the schools that they will use will be provided with TIPS training in the fall, and then they will see how their process goes because they will, we will record our meetings and they will listen to our meetings, and then they will also come online with us and review our meetings. Then there's also the possibility that we would be one of the chosen schools that we would go through that process, but they wouldn't provide us the training until the spring. And they want to see how well our data goes, the comparison with the schools. So they're actually conducting a research project through that, but they're giving us the training and guiding us through the process, no matter which direction it goes, be it fall or spring, that we get the training. The benefit to it is that they are going to pay for our Swiss account, which is a $350 value, which is actually the program that we use to track our PBIS data, besides the training. And so we are asking the board to approve this for the elementary schools so that we can get more knowledge about interventions and supports through the Tier 2 process.
We want to see if this will help reduce our referrals. So,
just making sure that we're targeting any interventions that are specific for student behaviors and academic.
Any questions?
Thank you.
May I have a motion?
Motion to approve the DBIS tips research training.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those
Thank-
opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much, I appreciate it.
All right, public announcements regarding closed sessions? None? Okay. Any public comments for items on the closed session agenda? None? I'd like to adjourn for closed session at 6:09. I'd like to reconvene this meeting of the Palmdale Aerospace Academy. Nothing to report during closed session. Board reports. Mr. Farad, do you have anything to report?
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Lee?
No.
No. Ms. Gardner, anything to report? Mr. Trujillo?
No, I just want to thank the staff for all the work they did over the summer to get us ready for this new school year.
Ms. McKenzie?
Nothing tonight.
Ms. Lopez? I just want to thank facilities for all their hard work. The school looks amazing. Staff was out there cheering kids on. I definitely see the kids' face. Some of the kids looked excited coming back when they had a red carpet with cheerleaders, the teachers as cheerleaders as they walked in. Some were excited, some were shy, and some just did not look too happy. But the atmosphere was amazing, and it's a great start to the school year.
It's gonna be up on our socials, the red carpet will be up on Facebook and everything.
I was supposed to say it already is.
Is it already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
I saw it today.
Yeah, so follow us on Facebook for more info.
There you go. All right, call this meeting,
Make a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Second?
Blood for
All
us.
right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.